system in place to keep us in chains. By a show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? 1% trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go. And welcome everybody to Suck It. It is a Monday. Shitty ass Monday, but you know what? It's a Monday nonetheless. So we're going to do everything we can to make you laugh and start your week off right. So how is everybody? How was everybody's weekend? Did we enjoy it? Did we live the life that we wanted to? Or were we stuck in the house because we can't go anywhere? That's pretty much what I did. Just didn't fucking do anything because there's nothing to fucking do. I don't want to go to a restaurant, half, cocked, masked, It's boring. I just might as well cook at home. What the hell? I'm a good cook anyway, so suck it. But tonight we're going to have some fun, like I said. So tonight I have an amazing entertainer with me tonight. Good friends with this past Thursday's guest, Icavelli, starring in a new movie called Junk. Is a mainstay in New York theater, has his own cabaret show. Guy is just an all-around, when you say the word entertainer, this guy just, speaks that volume. So it's my pleasure to bring to the show today, Mr. TYM MOSS. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Derek, how are you?
Fan-damn-tastic.
I'm just lounging here in my room again. So,
aren't we all?
Thank you so much. I love Suck It. I love it.
Yes, it's my favorite thing to do on a nightly basis. Say just to tell the world to suck it.
Yes.
So how you doing, bud?
I'm wonderful. Under the circumstances, I'm great. I'm absolutely incredible.
Under the circumstances, by whatever do you mean?
Well, let's just pull one thing out of the hat. How about the pandemic?
Or just our country fucking falling apart.
God. And post office, just, oh my God.
Yeah, that post office shit is, I'm reading about it daily. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, right? Like 2 months before, a little over 2 months before the election.
Yeah, no.
No, nothing going on here. No.
No, actually, I read an article today. I think it was in The Guardian. So, an anonymous tipster out of Philadelphia, who works for the post office, supposedly the new postmaster general, is making everyone starting to deliver mail 30 minutes earlier than normal. And so that's preventing mail that's being sorted that morning from getting out. But then on top of that, anything that's not electronically sorted, he is preventing it from being hand sorted. So these are all things that are coming out now, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've said that for months, that was going to happen, and we're in it right now. I knew this was coming. I called it.
Oh yeah, and if you know, if you don't think that Mr. Cheeto had anything to do with that, you're on drugs.
Right. He appoints his buddy, his friend, in as Postmaster General, who eliminates a lot of the top executives, and then starts making all these new regulations and moving all of the sorting machines out. And it's so obvious, and that's the scary part, is it's just blatant right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and we knew it was coming. I mean, whether you're a Republican or not, you got to admit it's messed up, because the thing about it is he's talking about how, this is gonna be the most controversial election in history, and there's gonna be so much fraud and blah blah blah.
And there will
be, but there was fraud last time too, thanks to the Russians. So what does it matter?
No, but the thing is one thing I've noticed about with him is he is so transparent. He cannot keep a secret. He just can't.
No, he can't.
So basically, every time he says that this election is going to be rigged, it is because he's rigging it.
Oh, he's basically said it straight up.
Exactly what he's got planned.
Yeah,
he's always. But anyway.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because I saw something today. What did I see? It was just a simple question. It was a 60-second blurb on Twitter. Some news reporter had the gall, the gumption, the balls to say, so for the last 3.5 years, you've done nothing but lie to the American people. When are you going to start admitting to it? And he completely is like, excuse me, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah. I give it to that reporter for going in. Definitely.
That's something I would have done. Oh, absolutely. Good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But what an ass.
Yep. Boy, we came right out of the gate with that one.
I told you it's gonna go like this.
I love it.
It's all in the interest of fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you know what? It's so fucked up that what we're seeing, if we're not laughing about it, all we're gonna do is like shake and get pissed off and punch holes in walls. And
because in so many times for the past 3.5 years, I was like, I don't know what emoji to use. Should I laugh? Should I cry? Because I got those mixed emotions constantly, and they still don't have a palm to the forehead or an eye roll.
Yeah,
those I would wear out. I would wear those out.
Yeah. Well, no, the palm to the forehead and the eye roll exist.
What's that?
They said the palm to the forehead and the eye roll exist.
Oh, they do. I guess I'm not.
They do.
Okay, I need to do a little more research on that.
I'm gonna have to come up to New York and I'm gonna have to teach you the whole emoji thing.
Anytime. Just wear your mask.
Old farts like you need extra help.
And I'm well known for, what's this button do? There goes lost everything,
I don't think you're the only one with that. I think even people my age do that shit all the time. We'll get that, that spam email for porn. What?
Yeah.
Just let me click that. Who the hell uses porn for email anymore? Come on, people. Pornhub exists for a reason.
Yeah. And myself being a gay man, I am on my phone. I've got all kinds of pictures of me stored in one area, and I'm scared to death that I'm going to accidentally poof onto Facebook one day or something. I'm scared to death.
See, that's why I like using my Samsung phone, because we have something called a secure folder. So you just put everything in the secure folder, and you have to access it separately. See, yeah, there you go.
I got a Samsung. Got to write that down too.
Secure folder.
I roll emoji, secure folder.
Put it all in there, and you're fine. So tell me about the stuff you got going on. You got a lot going on. You got the movie Junk coming out. What's going on with that?
Well, actually, we had our world premiere last year in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And then we had, it was actually about a year ago, we had another premiere of it. It was on the film festival circuit down in Durham, North Carolina, where we shot the movie. Mm-hmm. And I played a role called Miss Lily, who it's based on an actual person, which I didn't know until a couple months before we actually shot the movie, that she was real and she was from that area and everybody knew her. pressure. So I tried to, I just wanted to make sure that I got everything, you know, that I did her justice. And the night that we did the premiere in North Carolina, I came walking out from backstage before the movie, and this woman is holding this picture, and she goes, "Are you Tim Moss?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "You play Miss Lily, right?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Here's a picture of her." And I was, "Oh my God." And she said she was part of her social group. And then as I was about to walk in, and she had me sign the picture and all of that. So as I was about to walk in the theater, somebody else comes up and say he was dressed in drag. And he says, "Are you Tim Moss? You played Miss Lily, right?" And I was like, yeah. And he says, "Oh, she was a dear friend of mine, and I got dressed in drag in her honor," because she was basically a transgender before they had a name for it.
Okay, I was just going to ask you what was she drag or was she okay?
She lived as a woman, in North Carolina.
Ooh,
yes, and don't fuck with her. Oh, or yeah, I can swear.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, good. You'd be bleeping me all night.
I don't have a drop button. You're good.
So after the premiere in North Carolina, we stepped out on stage for a Q&A. And of course, this group is over on this side down in front. She's holding the picture. Then I've got the other group over here that everybody knows her. And I didn't know. I was scared to death to walk out on that stage because I thought they were going to be like, "I hated it. It was great." You know, but I didn't know what the reaction was going to be. First question. Does anybody have any questions? The one in drag raises his hand, stands up, and he says, he goes, "I just want to say, Tim Moss, you were Miss Lily, and I lost it." I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you. I thought you what that means to me. Oh my God, no."
Has she since passed?
Oh, yes. She's been dead for several years. Yeah,
okay.
For probably, I think about 10 to 15 years now.
Gotcha. So what's the premise of the movie?
An older gay man, or Miss Lily, an older gay man and a younger gay man go in to clean out the house of a recently deceased man.
Okay.
And we kind of piece his life together through his possessions, but the place is covered in porn. And we go through, there's definitely an intergenerational gap.
Okay.
Because Miss Lily is constantly saying, you know what the problem with your generation is? And comparing how things used to be as to how they are now. Like one of the things that she points out are tattoos, for example. When I was a child and Miss Lily was young, if a man had a tattoo on his arm, he was tough. He was quite possibly outside the law, maybe a motorcycle gang or something. A tattoo was a sign of rebellion, total rebellion. And now a tattoo has become almost a form of conformity, like where you almost have to have a tattoo now to fit in. And it just how things have changed like that over time, over the past 30 to 50 years.
What are you trying to say, Tim? I know it's not like I have a sleeve or nothing.
That is so cool.
I might be a little offended.
Oh yeah, she offends a lot of people in this film.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The more offensive, the better.
What's that?
I said the more offensive, the better.
Yeah, right?
You really test people's character when you get offensive.
Oh my God, and do we live in a land of pussies or what?
We do. We do. I was telling this story to Ike the other day. So I also do stand-up comedy, and I was doing a Zoom show a while back, and that is just the weirdest thing ever, to tell jokes to your computer. I mean, I do it here every night, and I talk to you, I'll talk to the audience, whatever else, but it's to actually tell stand-up jokes is weird.
Right.
And I remember, I tell this rape joke. Okay? Oh! And there was a 70, 80-year-old couple in the audience, and they were just like front and center. There was like 100 people in this Zoom room, and it was packed. And I'm looking at the screen, and I see this little old couple, and I'm sitting there. I know that the rape joke's getting ready to come up, and I'm like, uh-oh.
I know that feeling so well. Oh my God.
And I just did it, and they booed me, and but I turned it around real quick, and I just stopped dead, and I said, "Bring the booze, it just makes it better."
Well, the thing is, everybody's so sensitive and so, about every damn thing now.
It is. They are.
And there's always some group that's raising, hell about, oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. And that, oh my God, that reminds me of one time I was hosting Brooklyn Pride. I don't know if this is so not politically correct right now. But before the show, we had walked into this bar, which was just off the stage. And the bartender was telling us all of these really off-color, very politically incorrect jokes. And I was joking with him. I said, well, if I'm hosting and I have to stretch a time, I said, I'm going to tell one of your jokes. And he goes, I would love that. I would love that. So I honestly, I do not remember the joke. But sure enough, the first act was late. So luckily, there wasn't a lot of people there yet. But there was enough scattered around, and there were some cops standing off to the side. And the joke said something about, the punchline was something about instead of coming out of the closet, that the midget came out of the cupboard.
Okay.
It was something like that, which again, and I told him, I said, this is not me. This was the bartender, his joke. And I thought, well, it's early. Let me get that out of the way, make him happy and all this. So when I said a midget, all of the cops go, oh, because I didn't say little person. Yeah. And I said, yeah, the midget came out of the cupboard. And of course, it's like crickets. So I said, well, anyway, we've got a big show for you today. Wide variety of artists. Life is like a cabaret. And so I go into the song Cabaret, like, what good is sitting alone in your... And as I'm singing, I noticed this rustling through the crowd. And can you believe a lesbian leather dwarf comes charging up to the stage? Like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
What are the odds? And she was pissed too.
Yeah.
And I felt horrible, but I was going to have her come up, but she left before the song was over. But
the thing is,
like,
the thing about it is, if Brad Williams, who is a notorious little person comic, famous all over the world, told that joke, it would get a laugh.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Is the fact that we get into these stereotypes, like, especially when it comes to white men or white males, not so much white females, but white males. Like, we have to stick to, nothing that's racial in any which way, shape, or form. We have to stick to the stereotypical stuff. And if we do anything outside the lines at all, we're immediately outcasted. In any which way, shape, or form. Now, there's also, the ones that just don't give a fuck. But at the same time, it's one of those, it's really like, back and forth. And it's hard. It really is. It sucks that way, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, it's for fun, but I can also understand the insulting. It can be construed as insulting, what I mean? But, and I, for one, I have difficulty in keeping up with all of the politically correct terms this week that they're doing. They keep changing everything on me.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it sucks because, like I said, I mean, if I want to go up there, like I said, I tell a rape joke. I tell a joke about BDSM and Japanese businessmen, and I also tell jokes about my Syrian heritage, and I tell jokes about everything because I just don't care, because I find the funny in everything, and it's not like I'm going up there being deliberately racist or deliberately crude.
Right.
There's a line, and as long as you don't as long as you hover over the line, you should be okay. But a lot of people don't view it that way.
Right, exactly.
Like Anthony Jeselnik, one of the world's most notorious off-color comics out there today. You see him go up on stage, you can see him say anything, and everyone's gonna be okay with it. But at the same time, if anyone else does it, I mean, it's like you almost have to you have to sustain years and years and years of ridicule for saying these jokes, and then prove that you're worthy of telling these jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sad.
Somehow it's in the delivery. It's in the something. But there are some people who do actually get away with these things.
Yeah.
They're kind of not. Joan Rivers. I loved watching Joan Rivers, but she was the most insulting comic. I think
she really was.
But that's what was so hysterical, was nothing was off limits. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying when it comes to, even, like I said, even women. I think most people will, just kind of turn their head and say, oh, whatever, it's funny. Who's the other one? Oh, God, what is her name? I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Jewish white lady, older. Oh, God, I can't think of her name.
A comedian?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Judy Gold?
No.
Well, she's not that old.
Oh, God, what is her name? Notorious for dating black guys and
Lisa Lampanelli.
Lisa Lampanelli, thank you.
Oh yeah, I love Lisa.
Yes, so she's like one of those women that can get away with anything.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah, she's definitely on the level of Joan Rivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you also have a cabaret show.
Yeah. My cabaret show, I'm very, very proud of that show. It's of course we're not doing it now, but I've taken it around the country. And because I walk people through my life, what I've experienced so far, and I do it with familiar songs, but we're in New York, if you can hear the ambulance in the background. But I tell my stories through familiar songs, but they take on a different meaning.
Okay.
Like, I start off talking about growing up in the 60s and the 70s in the countryside of Indiana. And at that time, I don't think I ever heard the words gay or homosexual. I had no idea what it was. And I had no idea why I was attracted to the boys instead of the girls. And it was a very lonely, isolating experience for me. And then later on, when I found out that there were other men like me out there that liked men, I was off to the races, honey.
As one would imagine.
Yes. But then I also talk about when I moved to New York, and I got manipulated into real estate, which I absolutely hated, and wake up one day and I own the company. Everything is in my name. And so miserable from that moment forward. And so I started reaching for drugs and alcohol, which most people who know me have no clue. They have no idea of that part of my history. And I was basically strung out on drugs and alcohol for 20 years. It built up over the course of 20 years. And in my cabaret show, I take people through my addiction. I take them down to literally the point of death, where I was staring death in the face. And then, I bring them back up and we all celebrate and sing at the end. So, but it is unlike any other show that's out there. And I got critical acclaim here in New York, which I'm grateful for. And, but as an example, are you familiar with Duffy's Mercy? Because I'm begging you for mercy.
Yeah.
Won't you release me?
Yeah.
We would take songs like that song I took, and we slowed it down into a dark blues song, and I'm singing it to the cocaine. So I'm saying, I'm begging you for mercy, please release me. So it gave that song a completely different meaning.
That's interesting. I like that.
The whole show is like that. The whole show.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I was so grateful to have an amazing director and musical director. for that show.
That is different.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, that's definitely, like you said, that's unlike anything I've ever heard of.
Yeah, because in Palm Springs, California, how I promoted it was you will laugh, you'll cry, you'll sing along. And we do.
So let's dive a little bit more into your alcoholism and addictions, if you don't mind. So you said it was because you got involved with something you didn't want to. I mean, you said you got into real estate, or I mean, obviously there's more to it than that. What happened there?
I moved out to New York, and New York was a completely different city at that time. We're talking in the early 80s. This city was totally out of control. The criminals ran the street. They owned the police. It was insane. It was filthy. It was dirty. It was dangerous. Basically, during that time, if you went out, got on the subway, went to work, and came home alive, you made it. It was that crazy outside your door. And I moved out here to pursue entertainment, and I got manipulated into the real estate, which I hated. And the guy that was running it used to be in entertainment. And so I thought, well, he knows talent then, because he used to work with Sinatra, Elizabeth Taylor, with some real heavy hitters, you know? And so he needed somebody to run the real estate. So he was always telling me, oh, you're not that good of a singer. You're not that good of an actor. You'll never make it in the business. Stay here and do the real estate. There's money, money, money here. Stay here. And after hearing that a couple years straight, I believed him. You know, I thought he knows talent and I must not have any of it. And so I just gave up on entertainment. I gave up on life, and I gave up on dreams. So, and that's when I was just like, I really don't care if I live or die. And I kept pushing the edge. I would go up to the edge and pass it. As I say in the cabaret show, I passed the point of no return 2 times.
Okay.
So I went so far out there that there was no way I was going to be able to make it back, and I couldn't find my way back on my own. I needed, doctors and therapists and counselors because I was lost. I was in just complete darkness.
So what brought you back from the brink?
Interestingly enough, one night there was a guy that well, in the show I say, let's just call him the devil. Okay. So the devil moves in with me. He had just finished doing 5 years hard time in prison. So I thought, what a great idea. Let's have him move in. And, but for the 5 years that he was serving time, all he did was lift weights. So hello.
Okay.
How bad could it be? It was bad. My functioning days ended, and we would literally party around the clock for days on end. And one day we had been up partying for 4 days straight, and my body just gave way. So I went over to my room and laid down on this wiry mattress in the middle of the floor. That had been my bed for a couple of years. And the devil comes walking in, and he says, there's some guy here that says he's an old friend of yours. Come on. And I could not get up. My body would not let me get up off that mattress. I had to roll off the mattress and crawl across the floor to use the door frame to get up on my feet. And when I walked into the other room, a friend of mine that I had not seen or heard from or spoken to for 12 years was standing there. And one look at him and my mind went back 12 years just in a second. And I just remember standing there looking at my hands and my arms going, my God, there is nothing left of me. I'm an empty shell. There's nothing left. And that was the beginning. That was when I was aware of how far I had gone. And I knew I I didn't have the answers, but I needed help. I needed some help. So this guy went back to prison, which is where he needed to be, and I sought the help that I needed. So, and what was really weird was I was an amnesiac. I was diagnosed with a brain atrophy, which is where your brain swells from so many years of alcohol consumption and drug consumption. And I lost all my memories. And when I started rehab, my memories started to return, which was really weird. But one of the first memories to resurface was, oh my God, I'm an entertainer. I'm a singer. I'm an actor. I had forgotten for 20 years who I was. And once I committed to getting back into entertainment, because I thought it always brought me joy, let me try, let me get back in and see what happens. As soon as I committed to that, the universe just started dropping miracle after miracle after miracle in my path. And that's what I grabbed a hold of. And that, along with the help of the doctors and therapists, help point my way, help guide me out.
So how long ago was that?
What is the, 2020. Oh God. 14 years. I'm 14 years sober and 13 years smoke free. I dropped drugs and alcohol 1 year, and the following year, after 30 years of smoking, I dropped that.
Fantastic.
Which was harder than the drugs almost.
Yeah. I can understand that. So for 20 years,
yeah,
you gave up everything and you weren't even in the life anymore.
What do you mean?
As far as the entertainment life?
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I would do a show here and a show there, and I tried to do, I was just spinning my wheels, because the real estate is like a 24-hour operation practically. It just takes so much time. And so I basically just had to toss that on the side, had to toss entertainment on the side.
And then 14 years ago, you got clean and sober.
Yep.
And now you've dedicated your life to entertainment. Well,
yeah, I'm just, I came up with a couple mantras that I also mentioned in the cabaret show. Like the first part of my life, I was doing what everybody else wanted me to do. I was like a supporting role in everybody else's reality. But now in the second half of my life, bitch, I am starring in my reality now.
I like that. There's no better way to live, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm having the time of my life. I am having so much fun. And again, I film and theater and music and television, and I'm doing it all and loving it, having a great time. And sometimes I even go out on the road with Ike Valley. Love that guy.
Yeah. Oh my God, that guy.
I'm serious. From the moment we get in the car to go, and we can be driving for 8 hours straight, and we're just laughing every second of the way, every second of the drive.
Him and I talked for a little over an hour on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And I swear to God, it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have talked to him all night long. If I didn't have a musical guest on with me, I could have talked to him the whole 2 hours. I mean, that guy. Whew. I would love an episode where I have both y'all on.
Oh my God. It would probably consist of, oh my God, Ike, you remember this? Oh my God, Ike, you remember when this happened? Oh my God, Tim, you remember?
And I just sit back and listen and laugh. I wouldn't have to ask a question. Y'all be just sitting there biographing each other and just telling stories.
Oh, we've had so much fun on the road. Oh my God.
That sounds like a fantastic episode.
I'm down. I'm so
So, you touched on it a little bit, and I want to kind of dig into a little bit more.
Sure.
Because again, it fascinates me because I'm such a huge advocate for gay rights and and stuff like that.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Like I was telling you in the pre-interview, I have an 18-year-old daughter who's gay, and I have a gay pride tattoo for her. We got her for her 18th birthday.
The coolest dad ever.
Everyone I tell says that. It's like I just thought it was something nice to do. I didn't think of it, anything else other than that. Because I'm a tattooed guy. I love tattoos. But doing that for my daughter was just some way to memorialize it.
Who she is, part of who she is. Yeah.
Exactly. And even when she gets pissed off and starts yelling at me and cussing me out and shit like that, remember, this is for you. I walk around on this earth of 6 billion people, and I think I'm like the only straight guy with a gay pride tattoo, and I did it for you.
Something you can hold over her forever. I love it.
It only worked for a little bit. It's been 8 months now, and she doesn't buy it anymore. She's like, whatever. So you came from the Midwest, just like I did. I'm from Ohio. You're from Indiana.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're basically the same.
Well, no, because Ohio's better because we're Ohio. I mean,
well, and Ohio State, but I did go to Indiana University. Up there's Ohio State.
Told you I love tattoos.
I don't have IU anywhere.
But obviously you're a generation before me. So what was it like? You said that, you didn't even know what being gay was until later on in life. So what was your discovery process like? What was it like when you finally just figured it out? What was it like when you finally came out? I mean, what was that whole thing like for you?
Very confusing, but very liberating, because when I was growing up, the gay community was very hidden. It was completely underground and out of sight. And when I graduated high school, we had moved and I was living outside of a city, outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And so I started going into the city, and we had a way of finding each other in a way. The gay part of town was clear downtown in the seediest part of town, right next to the adult bookstore and that area. And the first time I went down there by myself, I got lost because it's all one-way streets, and I had no idea where. I had just heard through the grapevine somebody saying, oh yeah, there's that fag place down at, downtown on Pearl Street. So I'm like, where's Pearl Street? They'd tell me, and I'd go driving down there. Well, I almost got mugged the first time, and I slipped away, and I was going up one way and down another one way, and I couldn't find my way out. I was so lost at that time. But I went back because I had to. It's who I was. And from that point on, I was kind of in the movement where, because it started off again, where we were completely closed off from society. But then I would notice, oh my God, I know that guy, he's a policeman. And oh my God, I know that guy, he's a waiter over at that restaurant. And oh my God, I started realizing that we were everywhere. And that's when we started to come out into society a little bit and try to let everybody know. And a lot of times it was a very positive experience, but there were also some very negative experiences too, because we run the risk of getting beaten up or possibly even killed. But then people started discovering that there was a lot of us, that we are a large community. And when I moved out to New York, it started with the we're here, we're queer, get used to it type of thing. So that's when we first started to step out into society and be noticed. And then the AIDS hit. And that brought us together as a family. The community really started to tighten up because the government wasn't doing shit for us. So we had to try to figure it out and learn how is it transmitted and what it does and why, because people were just dropping dead everywhere. Yep. It was so horrifying. And that's why this pandemic also kind of had, it reminded me in certain ways of what the gay community went through with the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to more recently, where we are actually allowed to get married now. I never thought in my mind, it never even entered my mind that that was even a possibility.
Yeah, I
that
think
I could ever get married.
I think it just hit I think we just had the 5 or 6 year anniversary of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a couple weeks ago.
So I had a lot of difficulty with the younger gays, with that, seeing them walking down the street holding hands or riding on the subway, you know, with their head on each other and all of this. I just wanted to go up and go, smack, you're welcome. Because I never got to do that when I was your age, you know? And so I had some issues, but but now I kind of wear it with a badge of honor that in my lifetime, I have went from being completely underground to now being interwoven within the fabric of society, of American society now, where we can get married. To see our community go that far in my lifetime is, I try to wear that with a badge of honor now and try not to get pissed at the little kids anymore. So
yeah, but you know, with that even being said, I mean, even though it was 5 or 6 years now that it's been you know, legal, up until 3 months ago, you know, technically you could still be fired for being gay.
Yeah.
And that was the weirdest thing ever. I mean, so you had all these, now you were gifted all these different, you know, other things, but oh, sorry, nope. And that would, so it's like, there's still more steps to be taken, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And now, you know, we've got the transgender, you know, stuff going on now, to where, you know, it's almost taken the place of, you know, now being, I'm gonna say it loosely, I'm just for hypothetical purposes, being gay is almost normalized, you know, to the point now where we're at, and now the transgender thing is, now it's the new gay, so it's like, you know, people just don't know how to handle it, but it also doesn't help where we have assholes like Caitlyn Jenner who who are just bad for that society. Yeah. You know, which I don't understand this, and I'll never understand this. Someone who was so, you know, all about being, you know, a woman and coming out and was one of the most famous, you know, transformations in history, and then for her to come out and condemn gay marriage it was a huge slap in the face to everybody in the community. Yeah. That was just horrific. And it's people like that. And you know, I almost want to, you know, misgender him and say that fucking dude, you know, just because, you know, because just to fuck with him. Sorry. Yeah. Fuck with him, fuck with her. With that person, it almost seems real. You know, I mean, that's the only way to get back at that person. But like, it was a slap in the face to everybody in the community, especially right after it came out, and you know, because she's so hardcore Republican, and it's that bothered me like to no end. Right.
Yeah, the transgender community is kind of where the gay community was 15, 20 years ago. I think I would guess somewhere in there. Maybe not. Maybe 10 to 15 years. But where it's introduced to to American society, the main part of American society, which many they were just starting to get used to the gays and lesbians, and then with the transgender, and now they're going to have to, they've changed the bathrooms and don't misquote or their pronouns, and that, you know, if you've known someone their entire life for 20 years and then all of a sudden you have to change their pronoun, that's not easy for people who are not used to doing that.
Correct.
I have been on the forefront of the community and activism, and I had trouble adjusting and doing that over the past several years. Now's no problem, but when it was first introduced to me, it's new and fresh, and it's hard to, because I do a lot of interviews on red carpets where I cover like LGBT events and interview celebrities and all of this, and for me, when I'm planning questions, when you're planning questions for an interview, and now all of a sudden you have to switch the pronoun. It was very confusing for me at first, but and I had transgenders turn on their heels and walk away because and out of insult, and I'm like, wait, I'm not the enemy here, cut me some slack, try that out in where I grew up, they're not gonna be nearly as nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it now, even on like Instagram and Facebook. In the description of like of their bio, they them, or it's like it's almost become now, standard practice just to say, hey, these are my pronouns, and they just pronounce it to everybody or announce it to everybody. Hey, make sure you call me this. Make sure you call me this, and it's like, okay.
Oh, and another thing, which I'm sure I'll probably hear about this, but I have friends, and again, even going back to the 80s and the 90s, the people who wanted to transition, but maybe it wasn't available, or it was dangerous at that time. They had to. There are some people who just have to transition.
Of course. And
that I totally understand the change of the pronouns. That they are what the changing of the pronoun is for. Mm-hmm. But then there are several others, in my personal opinion, that kind of jump on the bandwagon. Oh, I want to be called they or them. Like, you know what I mean? But why? They're kind of missing the point. not people who want to be called they or them. That's not what I'm saying. But I've just kind of noticed some people that it's not from their soul. It's kind of the in thing to do. And maybe I'm wrong. But
no, I think you're touching on something. I mean, because
I'm sure I'll hear about that too.
Because there are people that don't want to be gendered at all, and I think they're jumping on the bandwagon a little bit because what 20 years ago you or I referred to as a tomboy is now just someone who's androgynous. Or I'm not
non-binary, and
and I think that term is used too loosely now.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah,
but there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely not.
Exactly.
I mean, if everyone wants to be androgynous or non-binary, that's completely fine. But I think there is a lot of bandwagon-y stuff. I mean, especially people who are still cisgender male or cisgender woman that would still be considered straight. That use those terms. That use those terms just to,
right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You helped explain that. Yeah, because and again, for those who from their soul need to be called either they or them or she or her or he or him, wonderful. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like I can see in your soul, and I know that's why that's your gender. But then there's so many people that I'm just like, wait a minute, you are not really displaying the traits that I'm used to.
Exactly.
To have to change your pronouns.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, now the word tomboy is considered an insult,
Yes, exactly.
But then, here's another weird one, which I've also found a little strange. And I'm going to use one example. The world's most famous, and I'm going to say it because that's what he refers to himself as, the world's most famous transvestite, Eddie Izzard.
Right.
But even that word, now transvestite is bad. But he's a straight man who likes to dress up as a woman, so he's not drag, and
that's a transvestite.
Exactly, but that word is forbade too. You know, in some communities, it's like, wait a second, no, that's what he is, and he even refers to himself as an executive transvestite in one of his most famous things ever, when he was talking about the president that used to be, you know, he said there's two classes. There's fucking weirdo transvestites and then executive transvestites. License to Kill was probably one of the best comedy specials ever, but I digress. But you know, that's the type of stuff that's going on. Now we can't say that, but those people still exist, and they refer to themselves as that, but we can't call them that. And it's like, I don't understand. So
and there is and there's a part of the population that did not get that memo.
You're right. It's weird. So I mean, the classes and the genders and the, you know, all the different things, it gets confusing because it's thrown around a little too much. Mm-hmm. But I get it.
I do too, and like I said, my trans brothers and sisters, I am with you. I am with you, and I see the pronoun in you. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean that in the best possible way. But for people who just kind of, well, I want to feel different or special too, and they're gonna try to use the pronouns just to be different. I'm not into that myself. But again, who am I to judge?
Correct. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I try my best when people say, well, these are the pronouns, my preferred pronouns. I try my best to honor that person with those pronouns, you know.
Correct. Yeah. But I would never say anything.
I still mess up sometimes.
Oh yeah. If I think they're bandwagoning, I'm never gonna be like,
same here.
No, you're a dude. Don't they them me. Come on. No, I would never do that. I mean, because that's their personal choice, whether it's a bandwagon thing or not.
I so wish more parents were like you out there. Seriously. It's refreshing, and I'm grateful to know you and to talk to you and to hear you speak like that, because there are a lot of people out there that they wouldn't even consider it. They wouldn't even consider.
So I was born and raised. I was born in Ohio, but I moved to Orlando area when I was 7, 8 years old. Okay. And there, the gay culture is everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
oh my God, I can't think of what it's called. Not Paradise, but
Parliament House.
Parliament House. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, been there.
That place is so epic. I mean, it's world known. You know, so I've always been ingrained in that culture, and I never thought anything of it. So, but however, I have one experience, and I told this to Ike, and he thought it was hilarious. But I had this one experience back in the early 2000s. There was a gay club that used to be called something else, and then it turned into Pulse. So it was It was before it was called Pulse. It was something else. I can't remember what it was called, but it was so long ago. But they had a weekly drag show every Saturday, and this drag show would get 300, 400, 500 people. I mean, it was massive. And one week, I went with my first wife and her sister, who was bisexual. But she loved to go to the clubs, and I was like, "I'll fucking go. I don't give a shit. What the hell's the matter?" So I went. We specifically went just for the drag show. So the MC there was one of those outlandish drags. I mean, full makeup. I'm talking, not impersonating anybody, just that loud. So she was up there. She was doing her thing, and between every impersonator, she was doing these great jokes. I mean, she was probably one of the best stand-ups I've ever seen ever. And cracking on the whole crowd. And then halfway through the show, she's, scouring the crowd to crack on. And she points me out. I'm just sitting there like this, and I'm laughing, I'm having a good time, just, whatever. I'm not like, hiding or whatever. But I screamed straight guy at a drag show. So her gaydar went off, and she was like, "Why the fuck is there a straight guy in my show?" And she started going off. I'm talking, every possible thing you could think of. She was calling me. She was making. It was so fucking funny. She went off like for a good 5 minutes, and at the end of the 5 minutes, she's like, "You know what? Get your fucking ass up here." So she called me up on stage, and she made the bartender bring her 2 shots of Goldschlager.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Little flakes in it.
Yeah. So she made me do a shot of Goldschlager with her.
Oh.
And then, but then I drank. Then she said, "You know, drinks are on the house the rest of the night." So
Nice.
I got to drink free the rest of the night, but it was fucking amazing. But you know, that right there, just like, it was just an amazing experience to be a part of something that I wasn't even a part of, and be included that way. And it was different. It was cool. And from that moment forward, I mean, I had always never had a problem with it anyway. But from that moment forward, I was like, this is a fucking cool ass community. I have whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it matter?
We really are.
Yeah, I mean,
and if people would just fucking lighten up and accept that fact, and maybe come to our parties, they would see.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
fun.
you know, I've known straight couples that go to gay clubs. Because the guys want to, just want to feel wanted,
Yeah, right.
and then the women, want to go there just so they don't get hit on all the time. So, so the guys usually go there and they'll drink for free all night because these gay guys are just hitting on them all night long.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, no, I'm straight, but like, I don't care. I want to buy you drinks anyway, and they're like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean but that's how cool that community is, and a lot of people don't see it that way. It's like, oh, you go to a gay club, you're gonna get raped, you're gonna get
raped, right?
Yeah, it's like,
honey, I've been going to gay clubs for years and never got raped. Damn it. I want a recount.
I mean, I remember that night too. Here's another thing I remember about that night, and I forgot. I can't believe I forgot this. So after the drag show was over, they had a male-female gay review, I guess you could kind of say. There was just these manly men and these really females that were scantily clad, just dancing with everybody, and it was part of part of the show. And what I thought was really kind of cool was the women that were obviously lesbian, which was fine because you could just because you could they were just doing things, but they still came up to me and danced with me. And it's like, okay, they could tell I was straight because I'm sitting there with my wife. But they're like, you know what, this guy still needs to be included. When we know, and so a male dancer is not going to come up to me because they knew, whatever. But the females came up to me anyway. I was like, this is what it's all about. What,
Yeah.
It was really cool.
When I first came out, that's how it was we would all just party together. Yeah. And there'd always be a drag show. The gays and the lesbians and the bi and the trans. And, I mean, we would all just have fun together.
Yeah.
But then it just seems like every society as it grows seems to split into different, oh, well, now I want to be the L and I'm the T and I'm the G and I'm the this and the that. And then within them, like in the gay community, you've got the twinks and you've got the bears and you've got the otters and I don't even know what the hell all those things are, or half of them are. I don't even know what I am. I have no clue. And and then even within the bear community, it's broken up into polar bears and muscle bears and cubs. And I'm just like,
the fuck is a polar bear?
Really? Polar bear is older, white hair.
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm a polar bear. I might be a polar bear.
You might be.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I found my identity.
You found your identity. I'm gonna send you a Coke polar bear costume for Halloween. Yes. with a gay pride sash.
Yes.
That's your costume this year, Tim.
I would totally wear that.
That's fucking funny. Now I can't remember what I was gonna say. Damn it! What was I gonna say? Oh, but it's funny that we're talking about drag because it's really interesting in my view that drag has become so part of our culture now.
Yeah.
But then the transsexual community, the transgender community is not. But it's almost identical, but it's not. So I mean, it's the same but different, obviously. But but thanks to people like RuPaul and I can't even think of her name. Has a YouTube show, one of the most famous YouTube shows out there. But like, I think her name's Roxy or something. But that has become so ingrained in today's culture, and it's like that's acceptable. And I love that. So I mean, it's sort of we're slowly going towards acceptance, but at the same time, it's not.
Yeah, everything has to inch along. You can't do too much too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of pluses and minuses with that too.
Yeah,
with the drag community now, because living in New York City, I mean, every kid that comes in, gets off the bus or off a plane to move here to New York, thinks they can throw on a dress and a wig and they're a drag queen now.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere. I can't keep track. I can't, because I've worked with a lot of them. A lot of the New York queens that have been on RuPaul's Drag Race, I've known for years, or I've worked with them. We've done shows together where, but I can't keep track. There's just way too many for me to keep track of now.
There is.
City.
Yeah, I mean, now I will say this though, as much as it has become part of our culture, I think in the straight community, they're still viewed as for entertainment purposes only. Now, while it's accepted, it's the drag queens. Oh, that's acceptable as long as it's in an entertainment venue. If you saw them out walking around, just being who they are,
right?
That's passé. But the moment they get up on stage, woohoo!
Yeah,
and I think it's there's still some room to work there. But it's definitely more accepted.
It's still a novelty.
It is, but it's an accepted novelty.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And again, I give it to RuPaul. But the sad thing is, because I have covered RuPaul's Drag Con, they have a convention. It is huge. They take the biggest convention hall, and it's lined up around the block to get in there. It's that popular. But it's almost like, I'll hear it for this too, but not that they've diminished the art form, but in a way they have. Like drag, again, back in my day, kids get up and on. But those were like real pioneering drag queens. Those were the ones that ran the risk of getting beaten up going to the clubs at night because they had to do it. And they created these personas, and they worked for years on these. And so many of these kids now put on a skirt and a wig and throw on some makeup. And they're like, well, I want to be on RuPaul's. I want to be on RuPaul's. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I can do drag. And without really developing a craft, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't think you're going to get shit for that, because I think that's something that's pretty known, especially outside of the I mean, there's the the cool things to do in both communities, whether it's the straight thing or the gay thing, whether regardless of what community you're in, there's things that you want to be, some can't pull it off and some can. So I think it's just the popular thing to do in the gay community right now. So I mean, if you want to do it, go do it. If you suck at it, you suck at it. But if you're good at it, fantastic. So I think it's it equates to the same thing as being a straight guy wanting to go do Broadway, or being even a gay person going to want to do Broadway. Regardless of your orientation. If there's something you want to do, they're going to do. But I think the cool thing right now in the gay community is just to do drag. So I don't think there's anything wrong with you saying that. Absolutely not.
But I got one for you here.
Go for it.
Do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race at all?
Occasionally, yes.
Okay, well, there was one on one season. I don't even know when she was on there. And I will drop a name. It was Aquaria. And I was covering DragCon, and that's where all of the girls from the different seasons, they each have a booth. And I was going around the whole convention center, and I'd interview this one, and I'd interview that one, and I'd interview this one. And I had never interviewed Aquaria. I don't know who she is. I never really paid that close attention. And so I get over that. My friend was working that booth. So I got over there, and there was only a couple people left because she was probably going to go on break or something. First thing, I walk up and I said, "Oh yeah, can I get a quick interview?" And so he goes over and he talks to, firstly, the little bitch didn't even bother to get dressed. She was in boy clothes.
Oh, wow.
Sitting there, looking like she's just bored out of her mind, talking to another fan who's in love with her. Yeah, here you go, smile. Take a picture. You know, that attitude. And he walks up and he says, "Oh, my friend wants to do a quick interview with you." And she looks at me and she goes, "What, who are you with?" And I said, "Well, it's UBC television, urban broadcasting television." And she goes, "No." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I will never, ever interview that bitch." And because what she represented to me, what I saw in her was someone who it was handed to. RuPaul worked her fucking ass off for years, developing that persona, doing television shows, having spots, and she worked her way up so that the door could open for some little bitch like Aquaria to walk in, and it's all handed to her. She didn't have to work for it. She didn't have to struggle. It was already made. You know what I mean? That was my impression of her. I don't know her history. I don't know, and I never will, because I'm never going to interview the bitch.
Yeah. I think you said it all just right there, was when the fact that you said that, she was there at a drag show, convention, and not even dressed in drag.
Didn't even bother.
The only person that can get away with it would be RuPaul.
Exactly.
Because when he's dressed like himself, when he's not as RuPaul, that guy has the most style of any man ever. So he can pull it off as a man or a woman. That dude just knows how to dress.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, even with his square black glasses that he wears, it's like, whoa, dude can dress. I mean, even for, like I said, a dude that, wears Deadpool shirts all the time and wears backward hats, I'm like, I'm envious of the way that guy can dress. I can't pull that off.
Right? Me too.
Jeez. But I would love to go to DragCon. I think that'd be cool as shit.
Oh my God, come up! It's so much fun.
I can imagine.
I'll get you in. You can be my assistant or something. We'll just run around just doing a bunch of interviews all day. It's so much fun. It's like 3 days, and it's a lot, but it's incredible, the phenomenon of that. I don't know. I would say gay boys probably have an edge. I think they're probably the highest percentage, but straight girls are right up there with them.
Really?
Yeah, it's so many young girls that are just, oh my God, and treating them like they're superstars or something.
Yeah, I have a best friend who is pansexual, and she loves the drag life. I mean, she is a female, but I mean, she just loves everything about drag. I mean, she is like, like I said, that one YouTube show that, she watches them all the time, and she watches Drag Race. I mean, she loves that culture. Yeah. So, I mean, I've watched, I've gotten more ingrained in it since I've met her, but it's still, it's fascinating. It really is. I love the whole unity that you guys have. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes on. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on just as much as, the straight community. But I think one of the things that I find the best about you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean the gay community.
Right. The LGBT, yeah.
The whole, even with the I now.
The A, LMNOP and all that.
Yeah. All the different, letters. That even though, 364 days a year, there's drama, there's bullshit, there's we're better than you, what about us, or whatever. whenever there's a gay pride parade, whenever there's a pride day, regardless of what city it is, all that bullshit's put to the side.
Yep.
And it's all about, again, the word pride. And when and any other community, regardless of gay, straight, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, whenever anything else like that happens, typically sometimes there's other types of violence or racism involved and stuff like that. But for that, I think recently it's become so part of it, the happiness factor and the unity factor, people leave it alone. And I love that.
Yeah, they can't. There's a lot of love in our community. Once everybody gets past all the bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, we love and respect each other, most definitely.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it so much. I mean, it's there's just
well, again, we had to be, because a lot of us left our homes, we left our worlds that we grew up in to come out here to try to find like-minded thinkers, like people who thought the way we did and that lived the way we did, and we created our own communities within the overall umbrella of the one community.
Correct. And I think the older crowd, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you can tell me, because obviously you're part of it. I think the older crowd is more unified. Because you guys went through a whole shit ton more. As far as being shunned from your families, the AIDS epidemic and stuff like that. You guys went through a lot. So you guys are more willing to hold each other's hands and say, unified we are.
Absolutely. We're brothers and sisters. All of us are, the older ones. But yeah, one thing I was mentioning earlier about like the AIDS epidemic and its parallel with and again, for me being here in New York for both of those, the parallel, an eerie parallel was back at the AIDS epidemic. There were so many families and parents that turned their back on their child that was dying of AIDS. They just marked them up. They wouldn't go to the funeral. They wouldn't see them in the hospital. They wouldn't do, and these poor human beings were left alone, scared and dying. Like, how horrifying is that? And then what reminded me of that, and it really jarred me to my soul, was when the COVID was going on here in New York, when it was like in March and April, when it was at the full mass. Loved ones could not get in to see their family members when they died. So they were not able to, and I was like, wow, that's the only difference is back in the AIDS epidemic, the parents decided that they didn't want to go.
Correct. Yeah.
Now the difference being, but now it's like, now you know how we felt in a way.
Yeah.
That it wasn't the same thing, but it just reminded me of that, where families were not there when the people had to die alone on their own. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with you on that. Because I mean, I'm only 39. But I mean, I remember, being young and seeing this stuff happening when I was, a kid. So for me, I think the turning point, and I saw this in my dad, and I saw this in a lot of my older relatives that were, anti-gay and anti-this and anti-that.
Right.
I think for me, as far as my family goes and the older people that I knew, the turning point was when Freddie died.
When who?
When Freddie Mercury died.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was worldwide. When he died, and so many people were shunning, AIDS, or gay, shun. And then he died, and they realized, holy shit, one of the people that we've idolized and looked up to and cheered for years. Oh, wow, what the fuck is going on? And I think a small majority of people changed it, and I think that small majority is what led the charge in what it is, and being more accepted as far as the gay culture in what it is today.
Yeah, but I think one of the big turning points with the AIDS epidemic was Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
When he got it, it was like, oh wait, a strong athlete that, a masculine straight man who's an athlete, he can get it. Wait, maybe we better check this out a little closer.
Wasn't the dates between those two almost within a couple years?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were. I don't know.
Me neither.
But
I know.
Yeah, it was.
I know Freddie died in '92.
Yeah, right.
I think it was 95, 90. I want to say it was right around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, boom, and I didn't even think about that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's when the government finally started going, oh yeah, it's real, and it's called AIDS and this and that. Yeah, because they wouldn't even mention it. Reagan never even mentioned it.
No.
For years, he wouldn't even say the name.
Yeah.
Because it's just the gay people, they're not important.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're 100% right. And I remember even being a kid, the TV show Life Goes On with the Down syndrome guy Corky. There was a kid on that show that got AIDS from a blood transfusion.
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so and that was early 90s, right around that same time too. So there was, people were starting to recognize it at that time. And I definitely credit, the older generation for finally saying enough's enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the sad thing about it is it's now almost 30 years since, Freddie Mercury's passing, and, more than 30 years since the height of the epidemic, excuse me. And we still don't have a cure or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that boggles my mind.
Yeah. Well, again, that was for AIDS. You were saying?
Yeah.
That I personally, I don't know if this is conspiracy theory or what, but personally, I blame the pharmaceutical companies for that.
100%.
Pharma, simply because they probably could have or might have come up with a cure years ago, but if they give you one shot and you're cured, that's not good business. That's not good financial.
Nope.
It's better if you keep the disease and keep coming back and buy $2,000 worth of pills month after month after month after month after month. That's much more profitable.
And the same thing with cancer. Same thing with cancer.
Exactly.
I remember a couple years back, maybe you remember this as well. There was a guy in Germany that was found to be, he had like an HIV or an AIDS immunity, and he got diagnosed with it and then was able to cure himself or something along those lines. And they studied him and they were able to figure out a vaccine or something along those lines. And in Germany, and all of a sudden it was huge news here in America. And it went away, and it hasn't been talked about since.
Here's your $2,000 cocktail this month and next month and the month after and the month after.
Yeah. If that doesn't tell you something, you're blind. Because I mean that was huge. I remember that very distinctly. I'm like, oh my God, they finally cured AIDS.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here a few years later going, what happened?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Didn't they cure it? I thought they did.
Didn't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. It seems to be in this world. So
yeah, unfortunately.
But what I'm hoping with this pandemic is that kind of gave people a chance to reevaluate their priorities in life. And I do hope that we emerge from this with more humanity, where money is not the end all be all to happiness, where it's family, it's relations, it's career, it's, whatever brings you joy in life,
Yeah, I've been saying it since the beginning that I believe this is a reset for everybody.
Yes.
It's really a time to, reset everything and finally come to grips with who you really are and be like, okay, this is the time. This is when I've made the transition to doing this full time and, giving up $100,000 career to try to be successful at this. I'm not doing too well, but I'm trying.
Hey, but you're doing it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. You can't expect it to just happen overnight either.
Yeah.
But no, I commend you. Good job. Bravo. Because again, we are programmed from childhood to be money makers, that money is your most important thing. And so people will stay at a job that they hate, to make money rather than follow their heart and pursue what brings them joy. And this brings you joy. This is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And you will figure out a way to make that money, to make the money. You will.
I'm hoping so. Because my wife's starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah. Not good to have the wife pissed.
Yeah. So talk about the things you got coming up.
Oh my goodness. I forgot what all I've got coming up.
We talked about so much.
Actually, Junk, the movie.
Yes.
That's the big thing. In the fall, probably October-ish, I'm guessing. We don't have a date set for it, but we're going to have an American movie night. And I'm working with a new television network, which is called UBC, Urban Broadcasting Company. And it's kind of like a lifestyle network. And they have these guys in Israel that have like cutting edge virtual reality, but without the helmet, without all the equipment. And they want to test it out. So we're going to be testing that out and showing Junk, our movie, one night only, and across the country. Anybody around the country can tune in and we'll all watch it together, and we'll have a Q&A afterward.
That's awesome.
So if people just follow me, I'll let you know when the date is set, and I would love for everybody to see it. One other thing I forgot to mention about that. Firstly, it was written and directed and composed. It's a musical. And Michael Penny from North Carolina did it all. He wrote it. He did the lyrics. He composed the music. He wrote the movie or the screenplay, and adapted it from a play that he had written that was done on stage. So he's just brilliant. He's incredible. And I was grateful that he had asked me to star in it or to play the role of Miss Lily, because she was quite a character to play.
And then you have your own web series or TV show or whatever podcast, whatever you want to call it.
Artists Exposed, which I've been doing for many, many years now. Actually, my 500th episode is coming up soon. So follow me for that too. And
absolutely.
my cabaret show, once things get rolling and get back up again, I'll be taking that on the road. But again, with Ike, I'm usually his musical guest in his show called 50 Shades of Gay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have taken out on the road. But we did like the Rochester Fringe Festival a couple years ago, and I double booked. I was in his 50 Shades of Gay, but I also did my cabaret show a couple nights while we were there. So, we book like different inner book and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, and 50 Shades of Gay is going to be done virtually next month.
Yeah.
Through the Rochester.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Fringe Fest. Thank you. I can remember.
He was just going over that with me the other night in between laughs. I mean, we can't even have a phone conversation without laughing our asses off too.
Again, I'm gonna have to bring you both on. Oh my God, that'd be
a
barrel of fucking laughs. we're gonna have to set that up sometime soon here, because that would be.
That. I am
my
down
God.
For that.
Again, I wouldn't have to say much. I'd just be like, "So, hey, how's it going?" and then just sit back.
Yeah.
I'd just be taking notes. Okay, so this is fucking funny. And I probably at the end of that episode, I have enough to write a book. My Night with Tim and Ike.
Yes. We were doing a show out in New Hope, Pennsylvania, at Havana. And it was for a fundraiser for my brother's house, which they house veterans around the country. They have different houses where they will help veterans get set up in a place. And I got up to do his show, and one of the organizers came over to me and she goes, oh my God, she goes, this is a family show. She goes, she goes, you might want to let him know. And I've done the show with him so many times. I knew what was coming because he was just about to say, oh, here, stick your hand in the bag. Pretend it's my ass. Stick both hands in and clap. And I go running up to the side of the stage. I'm literally in a sprint. And I go, Ike, no. He goes, yeah, open. Or just as he's opening the bag, I go, don't say it. Don't say it. This is a family show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but that's a typical day with Tim and Ike.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to do this episode. I'm gonna go ahead and make that note right now because that shit is epic. That's hours and hours and hours of delight.
Oh goodness, yeah, we've got a lot of stories, lots of stories.
Okay,
and
so,
with the sketch comedy, we've got the Tim and Ike show, which is on YouTube. I forgot about that. And yeah, where we do just comedy sketches, just bizarre, weird comedy sketches that we think are funny, and we have a good time doing them. So
that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're laughing, that's all that matters. I think like when I do my comedy, when I do stand up, I think the more awkward the laughter is,
yes,
the more fun it is for me.
And I love the ones where they're not sure if they should be laughing.
Exactly. That's it. Like when I tell the rape, I only tell one because I don't want to push it too far, but when I tell that one joke, that awkward laughter.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Or I did a comedy show a while back, not too long ago. Like a month ago, I did a comedy show here in town at a brewery. And my wife, my best friend, and then my former co-host, who also does a show with me on Mondays for mental health, we're all there supporting me. Mm-hmm. So the three, most, supportive women in my life are all sitting around this, this bar. So, I started talking about how, I can't, it takes. What I say? I can't remember exactly what I said because I improv'd it because I thought it was funny in the back of my own head. I said, a lot of people say that behind every good man there's a good woman, and I said, there's behind me there's three, beautiful women that support me every day, blah 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 blah. And I went around and I said, who say they are, and I explained why they were important to me. And I said, now if all three of them would only let me get behind them, my life would be complete. And you heard the three of them laugh. They all thought it was funny, but the rest of the people in the bar were just like, I took some pride in that one.
Yeah.
I love comedy. It's so much fun.
I do too, and I just hope it's not going by the wayside. Because I'm telling you, comedians are just under fire constantly for, it's like you have to filter what you say now to audiences.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, that's not funny. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think, even in today's day and age, I mean, if you're hovering over that line
mm-hmm.
and you debate whether or not you should or shouldn't say it, say it. Now, if you say to yourself, no, I definitely shouldn't say that, maybe say it.
Yeah.
But if you're debating on whether or not you should or shouldn't, you're like, oh, is this too far? If you can't figure out in your own head if it's too far, then fucking say it. And just,
how are you going to know if it's too far or not unless you say it?
And just accept the criticism as it is. Just accept it.
I like that philosophy.
It is. I mean, I remember... God, right around the time, or right after the Casey Anthony trial. Okay,
mm-hmm.
So this was a little bit about 9 years ago, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, a couple years after that, Anthony Jeselnik did a joke about it, and the joke was he was in Orlando and he told the Casey Anthony joke, and the
was that with the kids in the car and drove into the lake? I don't
No,
know who Casey Anthony. Oh, Casey Anthony was the one that disappeared.
no, the daughter disappeared.
all thinking-
Yeah, the daughter disappeared.
Yeah, the daughter disappeared. Okay.
Yes, and Casey Anthony was the mom, and the joke was, I can't remember what the joke was, but after the whole thing happened, a guy came up to him and he was like, "Never, ever, ever say another Casey Anthony joke," and he's like, "Why?" And the guy pulls up his phone and he goes, You see, son of a bitch, she was my niece. She's my niece. And he showed a picture of her on his phone, and she's my niece, and he's like, and he goes, bullshit. And he goes, no, see, motherfucker, she's my niece. And he goes, no, I believe you. I just meant she was your niece. You know, it's one of those jokes that you can't, if just throw it out there, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just tell the joke, and if people laugh, it works. And if people hate you for it, it works even better.
Yeah, right, exactly. That works too.
Because he also makes another joke in one of his other specials, and it's really fucking funny. He says, if anyone ever kills me for one of my jokes, I just became comedy legend.
Yeah, right.
And then he's talking about how his family's gotten death threats before because of some of his jokes, and he's like, but I swear to God, if any one of my family ever dies for one of my jokes, if you ever kill one of my family members because of one of my jokes, even better. and that's the way to live. I mean, live on the edge, especially in comedy, because you don't know. You never know.
I agree.
Until you say it, you never know.
Exactly. And for anybody that just gets insulted or is, tight ass about it, just say, suck it.
That is actually the moral of this show. That really is. For anyone who ever tells you to just, fuck off or suck it up or whatever the case might be, you tell them to suck it. It is the world to suck it. That's what it is. Ike, it has been... Ike, you're not Ike.
Believe me, I've been called worse. Tim.
I know. I'm just laughing at myself for doing that. Because we talked a lot about Ike tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been an hour and a half. Holy crap! I did it with you too. I know.
Oh my God! I'm sorry.
No, there's nothing to be sorry for.
But I had a ball with you.
All it does is it prevents my listeners from listening to the fact that after you go off the air, they have to listen to me talk for 20 minutes about something I'm pissed off about. Now I don't have to do that tonight. I can save that for another night. But let me tell you what, man. I'm going to get back in touch with you and Ike. We're going to do that episode because, oh my God, that would be so epic.
Believe me, there will be laughter. There will be laughter.
I'm going to have to wear a diaper.
Inappropriate laughter.
That's perfect. I'm going to have to wear a diaper because I'm probably going to piss myself. I'm going to have to put a diaper warning on the beginning of that episode. Either sit on a towel or put on a diaper, folks, because it's coming.
Brought to you by Depends.
Exactly. Or if you're tiny enough, Pampers, whatever. For all the midgets in the room.
Yeah.
See, I did it. See, I just came out. My bad. I'm gonna open up my door, and there's gonna be an army of little people at my front door going, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Other lesbian little people.
Oh. If
they get pissed.
If a lesbian little person with like full leather, comes at my fucking door, I might just invite her in and say, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah,
let's
right.
have a little bit of fun. What can you teach me tonight? Oh my God, I love much life. This is so much fun. Tim, you are awesome, brother.
Oh, likewise, Derek. Oh my God, I had a ball. This was too much fun.
It really was. We're gonna have to do this again soon. Let me just tell you. Oh my God. But you definitely take care of yourself. But we will definitely talk again soon. And I can't wait to see Junk. I'm looking. I really want to look. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
We are very, very proud of that movie. Very proud of it.
And you sound like you are. So it's something that I definitely want to be watch and give my review on and just enjoy it, because it sounds like it's just an epic movie. So. But again, you are a character. You are a gentleman. You are just you are everything I hoped you were going to be and more. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much, Derek. I so appreciate this.
Absolutely.
And appreciate all you do and being such a cool dad and the whole bit.
Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, we're gonna arrange this for soon. Definitely.
Okay, perfect. I'm down.
All right, man. All right, man.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good night now.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh my God! What a fucking what a character! What a guy! Oh, that was a great time. Hour and 36 minutes of craziness. But let me just tell you what, guys. Tomorrow night I've got private investigator Andy K on. So that'll be an interesting conversation. We're gonna talk a lot about some stuff that he does and some other stuff like that. Different type of interview that I'm, than what I usually do. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good one. So definitely check that out tomorrow night. Private investigator Andy K will be on the show, and I will definitely be setting up that interview with Ike and Tim relatively soon, because that's going to be a great time. But until tomorrow, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay heavy. Peace.